Oh, welcome again. Today I'm going to talk about delays, my 5 favourite delays and some tips and tricks associated with them. It's an almost limitless subject as far as I'm concerned, using delay, because they're so flexible. They can be used as tone shapers, as tone, as arpeggiators, as all sorts of things. Chorus, flanger, you name it. So yeah, we'll demonstrate some quick things, including one freebie, as well as 4 commercial ones. Okay, here we go. So, here we go. Let's have a look at... Okay, so here we are in Logic, and I've done some quick sort of semi-preparation here, in line with my professionalism. And yeah, okay, so I've got a basic part right now with a bass line. First one, Echoboy. Echoboy is one of the big guys, namely it's made by Soundtoys, and you will get very used to hearing me talk about Soundtoys in this channel, because I use Soundtoys a lot and they're just excellent quality, made by the same people that used to work for Eventide, so hence the quality. And yeah, this is the default setting it comes up as, an 8th delay. The main thing about Echoboy is it's just so flexible. Not only does it sound good, but it's also hugely flexible. It can do so many different styles. So if I just give a quick rundown of just even the styles available very quickly, because this will have been covered by other people, but okay, so studio tape, Echoplex, Space Echo, 100% it, tube tape, cheap tape, memory mine. Okay, get the impression. Now you'll see down here I've opened this style edit called, and this is where the fun happens, because you can do all sorts of like excellent tweaking. Essentially all these different tape models are just variations of this down here. I think they've basically tweaked the settings to emulate these various kinds of tape, just how they operate, etc. So let's start with something I do a lot. This is like a tip which I use a lot, namely using a delay as a tone box. So what I do for that is I mix it to 100%, because I just want to use the tone of the machine. I take the echo time, I put it on time mode, and I take it down to 0. So basically there's no delay. That's the most important thing for this. You can change that accordingly and change the timing of what you're doing, but for now let's just talk about it as if we're just applying tone. And then all you can do is simply switch between these models and see how it affects the sound. So if I take it down to mix down to 0, we hear it in its raw form. And then you can use it like that, and you can start to adjust the parameters down here. That's creating a bit more diffusion, more like a reverby kind of sound. Increase the size, and you increase the size of the kind of reverb effect. Okay. The other fun one is this here, the wobble. Unfortunately you can't MIDI control this. You used to be able to, but for some reason Soundtoys removed the ability to MIDI control it, because that used to be good. But yeah, you can create wobbling effects, but you can also create very extreme effects as well. So I'll show you what I mean. Increase the depth of the wobble, more like an old tape machine. If I change the shape of the wobble to a square wave, it's now going up and down very fast with the delay time. Go into extreme territory. not so useful, but it has its moments. And yeah, you can create very good, particularly using like SID kind of sounds and computerized kind of electronic stuff. So we're just scratching the surface of this machine here. You can use it like a tone machine like this. So this is AM radio style, FM radio style. Shortwave is one of my favorites, particularly on percussion. And over here we have the other section to tweak, namely left-right offset. We can change the style of delay over here. So we can put onto a rhythm echo, which is the other one I use a lot. already got a totally different style of effect there. And if I turn off shortwave back onto something a bit more full-bodied, change that to a reverse. I use that one a lot as well. So yeah, it's extremely flexible. So yeah, next up, let's do Delay. This guy is a freebie, and a really good freebie as well. Really good. It's got loads of character. Yeah, it falls somewhere in between the Valhalla Delay and yeah, not sure where it falls between. It's an interesting one. It's good. Okay, so here we've got a drum part played on another free instrument, Mega Drum machines. So yeah, and yeah, I've got some EQ on that just for make it nice. Okay, and delay. So delay when you initialize it. This is what it sounds like. Okay, so far so good. What's nice about the delay is that it has lots of tone qualities. So this would be a good one for using 100% wet, and using it like the way I was using the Echoboy a second ago, turning off the dry mix, having it down just wet, and then using the tonal controls. Quite nice, it's sort of pumping effect you can create by using the dot control. The dot control is a really nice bonus. What the dot control does is that whenever the dry signal is playing, it ducks the wet signal. So, and you can tell it how quickly to react, which is why it's not ducking everything, and how long the release is, and you can create a sort of pumping motion, which is quite nice. It's got a lot of character. It's really good for grungifying things. You can also put the distortion on after everything. Really accentuate that kind of pumping quality of the ducking. Change the distortion mode. Okay, you get the picture. That's it in normal mode, apparently. So it gets a lot more crazy. There's a reverse and forward mode. So if we turn this back to like a more normal rhythm, turn off the ducking, turn down the distortion of the tape modes, turn down to the diffusion. More of a classic delay, but we can put it into reverse and forwards mode. Alternating forward and reverse. Reverse mode. Chaos mode. Now I'll demonstrate some more chaotic stuff in a bit on one of the other delays, but chaos mode works particularly well with drums where there's no pitch involved, because the pitch otherwise tends to go crazy, and generally speaking hearing really random pitches is quite discombobulating, whereas hearing kind of random drum beats is a little bit more acceptable to our ears and to our brains. So yeah, particularly if you mix it in subtly with what's there already, and you can use the duck control to kind of tie it in a little bit closer to the dry mix. So let's try that. Push it out a bit, turn off the top a bit, take the top end off a bit. Okay, you get the feeling, get the picture, it's pretty mental. So I'll show you a couple of like presets I've made up as well. And here the distortion is what's creating a bit of like kind of tonal difference. Okay, and what else we've got? Wump comb. So here we've created a comb filter effect, which is another great use of delays. Turn the feedback up very high, and you tune the delay over here. So you tune the note here. I've used this effect a lot, even since the very early days. And yeah, it's a great way of adding tonal quality to something rhythmic. So it's called K plus strong synthesis. If you ever hear that mentioned, that's what that is. Okay, onwards. Let's do the next one. What have we got here? Okay, so here we've got a piano part on the piano tech, one of my very favorites. And let's copy this original part down here and let's speed it up. So let's take it, and in Logic that's how you speed it up. What are we doing? Yep. And do that. In Ableton you would click the ×2 button and the clip. I'll do another one of these demos in Ableton another time so that Ableton users don't feel left out. Okay, so here's the piano part. I've got a randomizer on the velocity there. You can see there's no effort to make this musical. It's just a basic up. I'll put the randomizer on actually because it is a bit makes it a bit sparser when we demonstrate delays. The randomization of the velocities helps to create a bit of space. Okay, so this time I'm going to demonstrate GRM delay. A GRM delay I've been using since very early on in my career, 20 years now. So yeah, this is GRM delay. I've put together a few presets on this one because it takes a bit of time just to get it sounding good for the way you want it. But basically what it is 128 delay lines, so 128 delays, and you can smear them across the time scale and then control them all sorts of different ways. So they operate more as a mass. You can create this sort of semi-physical modeling kind of tones, and yeah, unnatural tones, and also sort of smearing, smudgy effects. I've used it a lot. So okay, I'll give you a quick demo. That's what it sounds like dry. Some very random velocities. If I mix this in, creates a nice smearing effect in the background. Turn that little red button off. Now you can see here, if I turn it on 100% wet, this little bit down here shows you the shape of the delay. So it's very reversed, so it's coming in very quiet and turning out loud. And if you can change that here, so that's just solid on. Turn on my limiter. Okay, so you can hear, anyone who's heard my music will recognize that perhaps. I've used it a lot. Okay, the next thing to point out is that you can assign your presets down here on this timeline at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4 to 8, and then you can save presets up here using these little buttons here. It's quite a fiddly interface because it's an old plugin and they haven't really adjusted it for the times. You can resize the plugin window, but not very usefully, it only resizes the middle bit. It doesn't resize all the tiny bits of text around the edges. But anyway, I will demonstrate quickly what it means. You have a preset 1. This is preset 1. Have it mixed like that. And then I can just drag this across. And it retimes it in real time. To 3, to 4. Other thing worth mentioning here, this, you can set the times in these little boxes. So it pays to get a little bit tweaky with this plugin because it doesn't have any preset times, so there's no like 8th note, dotted 8th note, anything like that. You have to kind of dial in the times. If you're working at 120, as a lot of people are, if you are working at 120, it's very easy because these actually fall along lines because it's related to the time, right? 60 seconds, 120 BPM. So as a result, 500 milliseconds, 250 milliseconds, 1000 milliseconds all line up to quarters, halves, etc. So yeah, if you pick like round numbers, but if you don't understand all that, which I wouldn't hold it against you, I use this app here called MusicMath. There's lots of various equivalents to do the same job, but I particularly like this one. It's very neat and tidy. And you put in your delay time setting, and you can check in how, if I want a dotted 8, for example, it's 375 milliseconds. And this, yeah, and equally you could got notes and pictures and all that. Anyway, that's another subject. Okay, so you just enter them in down here. You can see here I've got 750 milliseconds. That's like a dotted quarter note, and 3000, which is like a dotted full note. So it's kind of dotted basically. Yeah, and then I'm just smearing it and moving the kind of the delays around. It's great for creating very kind of weird tones as well. If you use it 100% and you use it, take this down to 0. And finally, you can get it to just subtly adjust over time using the agitator over here. It's like a very basic LFO, a random LFO, but it's useful. Okay, that's the GRM Delays. I should maybe show you that on drums as well, so I'll see. In fact, let's do that. Here's our drum parts. Let's take the mega drums again. Let's put on the GRM delay. That's the default setting right there, which is just like lots and lots of delays squidged together. I find on drums quite often a small number works quite nicely, like maybe 12 or something, and then just playing with the distribution. Creating sort of smeary effect. Very Aphex Twin. It's a nice way of creating those kind of like smeared drum tones. There are other plugins which offer kind of multi-tap delays, including Echoboy actually, but there's nothing like the flexibility or control of each line. And even though there's no attempt made to tone each of the delays, like there's no high pass or low pass, you can still create these like great tones. You just have to put further processing on afterwards to sort of clean them up a bit and make them a bit less jaggedy sometimes. Okay, that's GRM delays. Next up, okay, I've pulled up alto. This will work on a synth line. Oh, turn that off. Let's have a little listen to alto, and we've got Primaltap loaded up on alto. So here's alto. Basic sine wave, just in its standard setting. Okay, now I'm going to load up the default patch on Primaltap. Primaltap is again made by Soundtoys. You can't resize the interface, which is annoying. But Primaltap, this is one of my very favorites. I use it a lot, and it's a digital emulation of digital delay called Lexicon Primetime. And it's a classic machine. It's digital, so instead of using a tape, it uses digital sampling. And as a result, when you doubled the delay time, it used to half the quality because you had so little RAM on it that you had to half the quality to fit double the amount of time on it. And so as a result, when you double the time of the delay, it halves the quality, and you end up with a sort of bit crushing effect, which is really nicely done in this plugin, and I'll show you one of my favorite uses for it. So if you put it on like normal, this is totally standard digital delay. Because it's Soundtoys, it's got a nice overdrive function. You can overdrive the input, and it's got, obviously feedback, and you can tweak it a little bit just to change the style, but not very much. So we'll leave that for now. But where this gets interesting is when you have, here's your settings, and we change this multiply factor. So this multiply is the thing which multiplies the time and halves the quality. So I'll show you. So that's half quality. This is because it's a sine wave. You can't really hear the degradation in quality. So it's actually not the best sound to demonstrate. Let's see if we can hear it better with this. So let me put it on full quality. Quarter quality. And it's doubling the time. So you can hear a bit more clearly there. It's degrading the quality. Okay, the eagle-eared amongst you will have noticed that when you switch between these, it has a sort of catch-up effect. And this is the thing which I like the most about it. It's if we put this into record mode and we just play it. Excuse the window going crazy there. Okay, so I've just recorded some basic automation there of playing the multiply, and then if I put it into 100% mix and I have it playing alongside something else, isn't that nice? I think it's nice anyway. If we mix it in, maybe it makes more sense. Very pretty, very delicate, and that's a nice effect. It's very useful on drums, of course, as well, because the pitch factor doesn't matter. But because it's a multiply factor, even the pitch works because it's just double or half. So it always stays in tune, which is one of the reasons why it works and why it's nice. And of course you've got feedback controls, you've got adjustment for depth and rate, which is how you create things like chorus effect. In fact, maybe this is a good chance to show what how you create a chorus with the delay. So if I remove all that automation, just turn it all off. Again, we turn the delay time down to 0, put it on time mode instead of beats mode, and just slightly change this. Put a bit of feedback on it. Let's turn the drums off. And then we have a chorus. So all a chorus is doing basically is just very slowly wavering the time of a short delay line. And you make it more stereo by changing the type of delay. So in this case, we'll maybe make it a ping pong, make it a very stereo chorus, turn down the feedback a bit. There you go, you've got a nice digital chorus. You can use this to double the time. Every time I demonstrate something, I always seem to create some ultra wonky and useless, but there we go. If you like wonkiness, then you're alright. Okay, finally, last stage. Okay, so we've got the my other favourite drum machine, which is the Bucketpops. This is the free one by Freebucket, and I love this thing, it's great. So it's based on the Mini Pops. Same drum beat, just on a different machine. As I say, I'm going to do a demo video of this one separately another time because you've got all these lovely tweaking parameters behind the scenes. But for now, let's just use it as a drum machine. So there's our drum machine. In fact, let's make it a slow beat so that we can hear the delay effects better. Again, just stretching using the ×2 button in Ableton, or just stretching with the option button held in Logic. Okay, and finally, my final delay, Valhalla Delay, of course. So this one's got a lovely big interface you can resize. Let me just start off with the default. Where's default? There we go. Here, presets, right, default. Okay. Where's the there's default? Okay. So that's how it loads up when you first load it. Standard affair. It's got a lovely tape mode, which sounds very kind of tapey and nice, lossy, and you can change it into an old tape over here, past. Increase the age. It's got a really nice tone, and it's got loads of different modes. Tape, hi-fi, BBD, digital, blah 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 blah. Loads of different types of digital delay line, and more like tape stuff as well. One of my favorite uses is as a tone box, because it's got all these different tape models and they make great tone shaping. So I'm just going to demonstrate a few presets of mine. So this is one I use the most, BBD flavor, which is literally just using BBD mode, which is Bucket Brigade Delay, which is like an old style of digital delay using transistors. It's got a lovely crunchy old school kind of sound to it. If you increase the age, you get a lot of noise, which continues all the time, so bear that in mind. Some of the models have a lot of noise on them. I can put it into pass to make it even crunchier. There we go, and increase the drive. Okay, so it's got these lovely tone qualities. The drive is also gain compensated, which means that when you turn up the drive, it doesn't turn up the volume, it compensates for it, so that's really nice. Okay, what's another one I really like? Noisy circuit spread. This is another BBD one. Really nice for creating atmospheres if you've got like strange percussion. if I mix it in with the original. A lot of atmosphere, a lot of kind of mood. What else? Tribal Oceanic I like. So again, this is using the ghost mode, which is more of a digital delay with a frequency shifter in it. So you can use that 100% wet. It's got really nice kind of, yeah, again, really nice tone to it, really nice shape. And these controls, it's so approachable. Everything's on this one screen. It's really cleverly designed and really well done. And anyone who knows Valhalla knows that their plugins are beautifully made, really sort of carefully thought out. Okay, one final one, Kit Downer. This is another one which is really nice, which is just using a pitch shift mode in Valhalla. There we go, another great preset. I'll actually make some of my Valhalla presets available, I think, on the Patreon at some point. I haven't really launched the Patreon properly yet, but I will start to put more things on there for people. But yeah, that's my 5 delays. So I'll put all the links in the description and stuff. Yeah, and hopefully that was useful to you. Thanks, bye.